But Stephen, Paxton thinks the luckiest team in the country is Alabama. And he's not about to like what I'm going to say. They're not lucky. They've been good.
They've had the greatest coach ever.
The two greatest coaches ever. That's not luck.
Yeah, that's not a lucky team.
Yeah. No.
Also, they went through, before Saban, they went through a pretty dark time for them.
Yeah, between Stallings and Saban was pretty dark. Okay. I will tell you who the luckiest team is. It is the University of Texas. And here's why.
Okay.
See, Alabama's not lucky in the fact that when they are down and when they were down, every team around them capitalized on it. Everybody capitalized on it. Between Gene Stallings and Nick Saban, Florida won national titles, Florida State won national titles, Miami won national titles, Ohio State,
Auburn,
LSU, especially I say Ohio State, but they're competing with, but all that time, especially teams in the South won national titles that were there, that they're recruiting directly against. Tennessee won a national title, so you had everybody around you that you recruit against the most win national titles.
Yes.
So that's not to get out of that is not luck. That's skill to fight through. The SEC is their dominance is built on Alabama's back, but the foundation of it wasn't Alabama. They were the ones that built up the building, but the foundation was all those other schools, Tennessee and LSU and Florida, and those schools winning before Nick Saban arrived and changed the trajectory of the whole threw it way into overdrive.
Mm-hmm.
Texas in 2009 has their last good season for a long time until really good season until a year ago. They had the couple years where they kind of popped up above, but they lost key games. They weren't really that good,
They had,
Sam
1 year with
Ellinger
Ellinger.
said, we're back, and then they weren't, so
it's a great Sam Ellinger impression.
So all of that, that they went through. In that time, did Oklahoma win a national title? No, they were good. They didn't win a national title. Did Texas A&M, outside of changing conferences, do anything to change who they are fundamentally?
No, they didn't.
Nope. Baylor won a conference titles. TCU got better. Won a national title? No. Nebraska changed leagues and ran away from Texas. Went to the Big Ten. Are they better now than they were when they were in the Big 12? No, they're not. Colorado's been back and forth now into the conference. They were a team that even beat Texas in a Big 12 championship game once. Did anybody around Texas use Texas's downtime to really better themselves when it comes to the big things?
No, not on a major championship level.
No.
Not in a recruiting level, certainly, because they still recruited at a high clip even when they were down, and now they're back in the driver's seat again.
So, Colt McCoy injury, bad luck. Alabama got lucky. That's Paxton. Okay. Alabama maybe got lucky that time.
Right.
But then to do it over and over and over again.
That wasn't the last title they won. Yeah.
No, that wasn't their, hurting Colt McCoy wasn't their lot. They're not living in a trailer park and hitting a lottery ticket. That's not what happened. And all of a sudden they're golly gee, this is not the Beverly Hillbillies. They were already elite. They were already well-financed and all this, and then just reorganized. They got a new CEO, and all of a sudden they were back in business. Boeing needs to do the same thing. Boeing lost their Bear Bryant. They haven't found their Nick Saban. Yeah.
They just that was the beginning of their run, but it wasn't,
Yeah, that was the start. That was the start of it.
Even if they lost that title game, they would have ended up being a historically great dynasty.
Yeah, they won 5, 6. Whatever they won. They were there historically the best program ever. That's not luck. That's skill. Tiger Woods made a couple of lucky putts in his career, but the fact that he was in position to make those lucky putts over and over and over again doesn't mean that he was lucky. That meant that he was, he was
good.
He was skilled,
yeah.
and then he
capitalized.
He capitalized when he needed a little bit of luck. And Texas now, 3 years ago, decides that they're going to leave the SEC, or they're going to leave for the SEC, leave the Big 12. At that time, you'd have been like, well, they're about to get their ass handed to them over and over and over again. And we don't know that they're not. Like, they haven't played a game against an SEC team yet as an SEC member, but they appear set up well to do it. Look, they had Alabama on the road on their schedule last year. And they went in and they found Jalen Milroe at his lowest moment and won, and like took advantage of that.
Yep.
Now, the skill part hasn't even come into this for them yet, in that, all right, well, you've announced you're going to the SEC, and guess what? The last year you have in the Big 12, you're going to go play the king of the SEC at their place, and it's going to be Nick Saban's last year. He kind of knows it's probably going to be his last year, and he's got a quarterback problem for the first time ever, which he did solve a couple of weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, they had a quarterback problem. Now, here they are, first year in the SEC, and the schedule machine pops out their schedule, and really looks like, all right, well, it could be worse. They're only playing 2 teams that won 8 games last year in the SEC. Now, meanwhile, Oklahoma didn't get as bad as Florida, but they got a rough go of it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So now, your big non-conference game, which Texas is not afraid to schedule, and credit to them, is against the defending national champion. But the head coach is gone, the quarterback's gone, the running back's gone, the wide receiver is gone. The second best defensive back, the best linebacker. I mean, they're still really good, but they have it.
It's not the Michigan of last year.
It's not the Michigan of last year, and you get to go to their place, and you are now loaded for bear. That is skill, and you are walking in where you have a great chance to not only beat Michigan in the big house and set yourself up for some bragging rights all year long, especially when it comes down to, should they get sniped a couple times in the SEC? Well, if they beat Michigan by 21 points on Saturday, they're going, well, they beat Michigan in the big house by 21. Well, they're going in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Texas is the luckiest team there is. Also, if Smokey was here, he would tell you that they don't lose fumbles as much as other teams lose fumbles. And that is truly lucky.
It is.
That's not officiating. I'm not complaining about officiating, but
it's just the way the ball bounces.
In Texas games, if you watch Texas games, they will have guys fumble the ball, and then it's just them and 4 defenders, and all 4 defenders like dive over the ball, and they just
pick it up.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like they saw a gypsy. And they were like, okay, what do we have to trade? And every generation, they just take a baby and like, this is yours now.
Keep that fumble thing going, man.
Yeah. So, Quinn Ewers' firstborn son might have to go.
He might be the next one. He might be the chosen one.
Yeah.
It's a compelling argument. I can't really think of another team that benefits from luck like that. My first thought was Oklahoma because they've never really been down, but it's not luck. I mean, it's just that they're a consistent program.
Yeah.
And they recruit well and they hit on their guys.
But like Oklahoma, given the resources that Oklahoma and A&M had in the Big 12, and then A&M had in the SEC, especially A&M moving to the SEC, A&M had SEC money, SEC swag, SEC all this stuff for a decade before Texas came in. And then that whole decade, Texas was average. Mm-hmm. They were down. They weren't cool anymore. They kept hiring the wrong coach. And what did A&M do with it? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. You have and really, Oklahoma made it to a couple playoffs, but they didn't win. They could have really, really put Texas far behind. All you've got to do is win one of those. Win one. And look, I'm not even saying A&M should win a national title. That's not something that's happened since before America was involved in World War II. But like playing an SEC title game, like, you know, when you have the Heisman Trophy winner, like
when you have a generational talent at quarterback,
and you recruit and sign who would be another Heisman Trophy winner, you keep those mofos. You don't lose 2 quarterbacks in the same day. Hey, Kyler, we really like you come back and be the starter next year. Like, no, I'm leaving. All right. Well, Kyle, how do you feel? Oh, I'm leaving too.
Who we got left now?
Oh, look, Trevor Knight is a grad transfer, and they should build a statue of him.
He saved their ass.
And he was really good for them. It was really good for them. As a matter of fact, had Trevor Knight just been at A&M his whole career, he'd be an A&M like legend. He'd have been great for them, you know, all that. You know, he wasn't. Trevor Knight is a forgotten Oklahoma quarterback. I'm not saying they're ungrateful for him, but considering the cavalcade of Heisman winners and contenders that they had after him, people like, oh yeah, he was here. I remember Katy Perry wanted to bang him.
That was a moment on College Gameday.
Yeah.
Where does Notre Dame stand in your luck rankings?
Well, they haven't capitalized on anything either. Like Notre Dame feels to me a lot like the Cowboys in that they're always going to be like there in the conversation, but they're not going to get over the hump. Right. And they're going to get hype when they don't deserve it. They're going to get criticism also when they don't deserve it. But that's also comes with the, you know,
territory.
Yeah, territory of getting all kind of noise you don't deserve, positive and negative. I don't think people ever have a realistic look at either one of them. Texas has been a little bit like Cowboys as well. Let's not deny it. Like they live in the same kind of,
but they figured it out.
But they figured it out. But Notre Dame and the Cowboys, you know, they're very powerful. They have all this stuff. The Cowboys, you know, will have things come to their advantage all the time. Where they've had seasons where they played like 7 backup quarterbacks in a row and went 4-3, and you're like, how are you? Like every time, like
how are you not winning this division?
How are you like you didn't like Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the first half of this Packers game. Matt freaking Flynn comes in that.
Hey,
you lose that one at home.
What's the slander on Matt Flynn?
I'm not slandering to Matt Flynn, but
Garrett's LSU side came out.
But I'm not slandering to Matt Flynn. Been on the show many times, great guy. But you know, when
you can't let him win at Cowboy Stadium.
You can't let him win at Cowboy Stadium when you're up by 21 or whatever they were, 17. And Aaron Rodgers, who kills you, is out of the game. Like those kind of things. Notre Dame, you guys make your own schedule.
Yes.
People are thrilled to schedule you. Nobody really fights you on it that much. It happens like once every 20 years. Somebody's like, well, we don't want to play you anymore. And doesn't benefit us as much. And then you move on, but you can always replace them. I mean, Notre Dame can pick up the phone and be like, hey, we'd like to do a home and home with you. And 9 teams out of 10 are like, yeah, sure, we'll do it.
Yeah,
you know. We'll do it. We want the exposure for sure. Absolutely. This will be great. TV.
Get on TV, get people in the stands because they got a national brand.
Yeah. You're going to it's going to be great. But every time that they have a chance to do something great, I
think the only thing most Texas people will fight you on is over the past, pre-last year, over the past decade plus, they feel kind of like an unlucky team, but it's really just, it's been mismanaged. Like that's the issue. It's not like haven't caught in any breaks. It's just they haven't been able to capitalize on what's there.
Yeah. Paxton asked me if I thought the most unlucky team was Florida State, and I don't think that's true at all. I know that like people are thinking, well, they have all those wide rights. Well, if you don't have kickers who suck, then you don't have whenever Florida State, if you look at the common denominators between their national championships, Scott Bentley was the kicker, and he was great. Sebastian Janikowski, who's the greatest kicker who will ever walk this earth, was their kicker. And then they had, I'm forgetting his name because he got to the NFL and got the gifts, but he was amazing in college.
The recent guy, right?
Yeah. So they've had all, and plus, they actually like Bobby Bowden. I think one of the things was like, always have a good kicker. Don't let it happen what happened to me. So they have like Dustin Hopkins, great kicker in the NFL, and Grant Gano is the highest paid kicker.
Roberto Aguayo.
Roberto Aguayo. Thank you. So yes. So again, not having a good kicker is not bad luck. That is bad recruiting. So it's one of my pet peeves about teams that, look, if you want to go Larry David and take out the goalpost and get all the kickers out of the game, then do that. But if you're still going to have a kicker and a punter, put some effort into recruiting them.
Get somebody that's there. Especially now when it's like, I assume back in the day, it was kind of hard to recruit kickers because it's not like you had people that were dedicated
They
to
have
it.
academies.
Yeah, now they have academies. They have services. You
can go to Australia and go
you can get on social media and see a bunch of videos of some kid booming it from 50 out.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, do you want to come up to America and where you all you have to do is punt a ball and lift weights and girls are going to bang you? Like, sure, because they like your accent and you're a football player. Good day. Let's be real.
What a great Australian accent.
Cracky, So, that would be my pitch. Like, do you understand how entertained Americans are by Australians? There are 3 Crocodile Dundee movies.
Have you seen the Hemsworth brothers?
Yes. The Crocodile Hunter was everyone's favorite show. Everyone was devastated when he died.
Yeah, everybody hates eels now.
Davis said, yes. Yeah. Or is it a stingray?
Stingrays.
Stingrays.
Yeah.
My apologies to the eel community.
I need to send you the Norm Macdonald video on the Daily Show with talking about the Crocodile Hunter. It is very savage, but it's very funny.
Was it pre-death or post-death?
Right after.
Okay.
Like a month.
R.I.P. Norm.
Yeah. It was funny though. So I think that would be great. That's what I would do if I'm.
That's your hearing pitch. For sure.
You know what? As a matter of fact, if a school wants me to recruit your kickers for you, give me a call. I'll go all over the world and find them. I don't mind. I talked to the late, great Gil Brandt about this on multiple occasions at Cowboys games because it bothered me so much. And the only thing he said, and the piece of advice he gave, when I said, I want to start at like you and me, we're going to do a kicker consultancy. And he never said yes. I don't know if he believed in me, but I really have passion for it. But Gil Brandt said that the biggest problem is that you find these great kickers at these small schools and they've never been in front of all these people before.
So
he told me a story about a guy he got from like Slippery Rock University. So he goes to Slippery Rock University and he goes and watches this kid. He could kick the ball. Like he said, if they did kickoffs from the end zone, he could hit the other end zone. He was unbelievable.
Wow.
Wasn't accurate as a kicker, but like kickoffs was unreal.
Yeah.
And Danny White was their backup quarterback and the punter, and they really wanted a punter so that Danny White could,
get off the field.
Yeah. And one of the things that would happen to Danny White is when he was the punter, quite often he would get cheap shotted. Mm-hmm. Because they're like, well, if the backup quarterback and the punter are both hurt, then Tom Landry's screwed here. Yeah. So he was like, well, we need to make sure we get a punter. So he goes out and goes to this workout. He's got, they're watching game film, and this guy's averaging like 55 yards a kick. Just booming the ball. Historic things. And he found out about him from like an article in the newspaper, that he read about like Slippery Rock punter sets record for, this, and so he goes up to Slippery Rock and he signs this kid, and they play their first game against the Steelers in the preseason. And every punt goes straight out of bounds. 20 yards. Like he can't do anything.
Shaking everything.
So after the game, Gil's like, buddy, what's going on? Like, I've seen you, like, this is your art. This is what you do. God blessed you with this leg. Like, go be you. There's nothing different about this. Like, football's football. Like, you had plenty of time to kick it. It's not like they were pressuring you or all that. Like, what's going on? And he's like, I've never played in front of more than 700 people my whole life. And like, here we are in the stadium, there's 70,000. And he's like, the eyeballs crushed him. And then after that, he saw it again and again and again and again. And he would look at kickers from small schools, and then he would watch their games against, like when they're playing in big stadiums. And if they missed a kick, he's like, nope, off the list. So, but I've learned that from the greatest scout in the history of.
You know what to look for.
Listen, Gil Brandt is the greatest scout in the history of football. He's one of the best scouts in the history of sports. Bottom line. So I know that about kickers. I didn't learn anything else from him.
But I got the kicker thing now.
Yeah. I lie. I found out how to get free stuff anywhere you go. But yeah, so yeah, he was great. But yes, Texas by far
Luckiest
most
team.
lucky team.
Yeah, I can't really argue with it. I can't think of another team that has been through a down period and nobody's capitalized. Like Nebraska, hopefully, is on the up. Well, hopefully. I mean, they look like they might be on the upswing, but
Yeah.
a lot of people around them have capitalized on their
The Big Ten certainly,
Yeah.
Ohio State and Michigan have both won national titles since
I mean, nobody in the pack could ever take advantage of USC being down.
the USC might be in the same
Yeah.
boat. Oregon got close.
They got close. But
Oregon got close, but they didn't. They're the Oklahoma of this
exactly.
scenario.
Yeah, I thought about USC. But,
Yeah.
I mean, they're still not really back either.
No.
No, they got a ways to go.
No.
That was a nice win. Sorry.
Thanks, Steven.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Garrett.
Yeah.
My bad.
We're not talking about SU schools. If it's an SU school this week, we're not talking about it.
Okay.
They don't deserve our damn time.
No, they don't.